Part 2. Chapter 10. Bronwyn, Monday, October 1st, 7:30 a.m. I get ready for school on Monday the way I always do. Up at 6 so I can run for half an hour, oatmeal with berries and orange juice at 6:30, shower 10 minutes later, dry my hair, pick out clothes and put on sunscreen, scan the New York Times for 10 minutes, check my email, pack my books, and make sure my phone's fully charged. The only thing that's different is the 7:30 meeting with my lawyer. Her name's Robin Stanford, and according to my father, she's a brilliant, highly successful criminal defense attorney, but not overly high profile. Not like the kind of lawyer automatically associated with guilty rich people trying to buy their way out of trouble. She's right on time and gives me a wide, warm smile when Maeve leads her into the kitchen. I wouldn't be able to guess her age by looking at her, but the bio my father showed me last night says she's 41. She's wearing a cream-colored suit that's striking against her dark skin, subtle gold jewelry, and shoes that look expensive, but not like Jimmy Cho level. He exited our kitchen island across my parents and me. Bronwyn, it's a pleasure. Let's talk about what you might expect today and how you should handle school. Sure, because that's my life now. School is something to be handled. She folds her hands in front of her. I'm not sure the police truly believe the four of you planned this together, but I do think they hope to shock and pressure one of you into giving up useful information. That indicates their evidence is flimsy at best. If none of you point fingers and your stories line up, they don't have anywhere to take this investigation, and it's my belief this will ultimately be closed as an accidental death. That Liza's been gripping on my chest all morning loosens a little. Even though Simon was about to post those terrible, awful things about us, and there's that whole Tumblr thing going on. Robin gives an elegant little shrug. At the end of the day, that's nothing but gossip and trolling. I know you kids take it serious, but in the legal world, it's meaningless, useless, until hard proof emerges to back it up. The best thing you can do is not talk about the case, certainly not with the police, but not with school administration either. What if they ask? Tell them you've retained counsel and can't answer questions without your lawyer present. I try to imagine having that conversation with Principal Gupta. I don't know what the school's heard about this, but me pleading the fifth would be a major red flag. Are you friendly with the other kids who were in detention that day? Robin asks. Not exactly. Cooper and I have some classes together, but... Bronwyn, my mother interrupts with a chill in her voice. You're friendly enough with Nate McCauley that he showed up here for the third time last night. Robin sits straight in her chair and I flush. That was a big topic of discussion last night after my dad made Nate leave. He thought he stalked our address in a creepy way, so I had some explaining to do. Why has Nate been here 3 times, Bronwyn? Robin asked with a polite, interested air. It's no big deal. He gave me a ride home after Simon died, then stopped by last Friday to hang out for a while, and I don't know what he was doing here last night since nobody would let me talk to him. It's the hanging out while your parents aren't home that disturbs me. My mother starts, but Robin interrupts her. Bronwyn, what's the nature of your relationship with Nate? I have no idea. Maybe you could help me analyze that. Is that part of your retainer? I hardly know him. I hadn't talked to him in years before last week. We're both in this weird situation, and it helped to be around other people going through the same thing. I recommend maintaining distance from the others, Robin says, ignoring my mother's evil eye in my direction. No need to give the police any further ammunition for the theories. If your cell phone and email are examined, will they show recent communication with those 3 students? No, I say truthfully. That's good news. She glanced at her watch, a slim gold Rolex. So we can address for now if you're going to get to school on time, which you should. Business as usual. She flashes me that warm smile again. We'll talk more in depth later. I say goodbye to my parents, not quite able to look them in the eye and call for Maeve as I grab the key to the Volvo. I spend the whole drive steeling myself for something awful to happen once we get to school. But it's weirdly normal. No police lying in wait for me, nobody looking at me any different than they have since the first Tumblr post came out. Still, I'm only half paying attention to Kate and Yumiko chatter after homeroom. My eyes roaming the hallway. There's only one person I want to talk to, even though it's exactly who I'm supposed to stay away from. Catch you guys later, okay? I murmur and intercept Nate as he ducks into the back stairwell. If he's surprised to see me, he doesn't show it. Bronwyn, how's the family? I lean against the wall next to him and lower my voice. I wanted to apologize for my dad making you leave last night. He's kind of freaked out by all this. Wonder why. Nate drops his voice as well. You been searched yet? My eyes widened and he laughed starkly. Didn't think so. I was. You're probably not supposed to be talking to me, right? I can't help but glance around the empty stairwell. I'm already paranoid, and Nate's not helping. I have to keep reminding myself that we did not, in fact, conspire to commit murder. Why did you stop by? His eyes searched mine as though he was about to say something profound in life and death, and the presumption of innocence. I was going to apologize for stealing Jesus from you. I recoil a little. I have no idea what he's talking about. Is he making some kind of religious allegory? What? In the 4th grade, nativity play at St. Pew's, I stole Jesus, and you had to carry a bag wrapped in a blanket. Sorry about that. I stared him for a second as the tension flowed out of me, leaving me limp and slightly giddy. I punched him in the shoulder, startling him so much he actually laughs. I knew it was you. Why did you do that? Get a rise out of you. He grins at me, and for a second I forget everything except the fact that Nate McCauley still has an adorable smile. Also, I wanted to talk to you about all this, but I guess it's too late. You must be lured up by now, right? His smile disappears. Yes, but I wanted to talk to you too. The bell rings and I pull out my phone, then remember Robin asking about communication records between the 4 of us. And stuff it back in my bag. Nate catches the gesture and snorts another humorous laugh. Yeah, exchanging numbers is a shit idea. Unless you want to use this. He reaches into his backpack and hands me a flip phone. I take it gingerly. What is it? An extra phone. I have a few. I run my thumb across the cover with a dawning idea of what it might be for, and he adds hastily, It's new. Nobody's going to call you or anything, but I have the number. I'll call you. You can answer, or not. Up to you. He pauses and adds, Just don't, leave it lying around. They get a warrant for your phone and computer. That's all they can touch. They can't go through your whole house. I'm pretty sure my expensive lawyer would tell me not to take legal advice from Nate McCauley, and she'd probably have something to say about the fact that he apparently has an exhaustible supply of the same cheap phones that corralled us all into their attention. I watch him head up the stairs, knowing I should drop the phone into the nearest trash can, but I put it in my backpack instead. Cooper, Monday, October 1st, 11 a.m. It's almost a relief to be at school, better than at home, where Pop spent hours ranting about how Simon's a liar and the police are incompetent, and the school should be on the hook for this, and lawyers will cost a fortune we don't have. He didn't ask if any of it was true. We're in a weird limbo now. Everything's different, but it all looks the same, except Jake and Addie, who are walking around like they want to kill and die, respectively. Ron gives me the least convincing smile ever in the hallway, her lips pursed so tight they almost disappear, and Nate's nowhere in sight. We're all waiting for something to happen, I guess. After gym, something does, but it doesn't have anything to do with me and my friends. With me. My friends and I are heading for the locker room after playing soccer, lagging behind everyone else, and Lewis is going on about some new junior girl he got his eye on. Our gym teacher opens the door to let a bunch of kids inside when Jake suddenly whirls around, grabs TJ by the shoulder, and punches him in the face. Of course, TF from about that is TJ Forrester. The lack of a J confused me. I grab Jake's arm, pulling him back before he can throw another punch, but he's so furious he almost gets away from me before Lewis steps in. Even then, 2 of us can barely hold him. You asshole! Jake spits at TJ, who staggers but doesn't fall, and puts a hand to his bloody, probably broken mess of a nose. He doesn't make any effort to go after Jake. Jake, come on, man, I say as the gym teacher races towards us. You're gonna get suspended. Worth it, Jake says bitterly. So instead of today's big story being Simon, it's about how Jake Riordan got sent home after punching TJ Forrester after gym class. And since Jake refused to speak to Addie before he left, she's practically in tears. Everyone's pretty sure they know why. How could she? Keely murmurs in the lunch line as Addie shuffles around like a sleepwalker. We don't know the whole story, I remind her. I guess it's good that Jake's not here. Since Addie sits with us at lunch like usual. I'm not sure she'd have the nerves otherwise, but she doesn't talk to anybody, and nobody talks to her. They're pretty obvious about it. Vanessa, who's always been the bitchiest girl in our group, practically turns away when Addie takes a chair next to her. Even Keely doesn't make effort to include Addie in the conversation. Bunch of hypocrites. Lewis was on Simon's app for the same damn thing, and Vanessa tried to give me a hand job at the pool party last month, so they shouldn't be judging anyone. How's it going, Addie? I ask, ignoring the stares of the rest of the table. Don't be nice, Cooper. She keeps her head down and her voice is so low I can hardly hear it. It's worse if you're nice. Addie? All the frustration and fear I've been feeling finds its way into my voice. When Addie looks up at the jolt A jolt of understanding passes between us. There's a million things we should be talking about, and we can't say any of them. It'll be all right. Keely puts her hand on my arm, asking, "What do you think?" And I realize I've missed an entire conversation. About what? She gives me a little shake. About Halloween! What should we be for Vanessa's party? I'm disoriented. Like I just got yanked into some shiny video game version of the world where everything's too bright and I don't understand the rules. God, Keely, I don't know. Whatever, it's almost like a month away. Olivia clucks her tongue disapprovingly. Typical guy. Have no idea how hard it is to find a costume that's sexy but not slutty. Lewis waggles his brow at her. Just be slutty then. He suggests. Olivia smacks his arm. The cafeteria is warm, almost hot. I wipe my damp brow as Addie and I exchange another look. Keely pokes me. Give me your phone. What? I want to look at the picture we took last week at Seaport Village. That woman in the flapper dress, she looked amazing. Maybe I could do something like that. I shrug and pull out my phone, unlocking it, handing it over. She squeezes my arm as she opens my photos. You look totally hot in one of those gangster suits. She hands the phone to Vanessa, who gives an exasperated, breathless, "Oh!" Addie pushes food around her plate without ever lifting the fork to her mouth. I'm about to ask her if she wants me to get her something else when my phone rings. Vanessa keeps a hold of it and snorts. Who's calling during lunch? Everybody you know is already here. She looks at the screen, then at me. Oh, Cooper, who's Chris? Should Keely be jealous? I don't answer for a few seconds too long, then too fast. Just, a guy I know from baseball. My whole face feels hot and prickly as I take the phone from Vanessa and send it to voicemail. I wish like hell I could take that call, but now's not the time. Vanessa raises an eyebrow. A boy who spells Chris with a K? Yeah, he's German. God, stop talking. I put my phone in my pocket and turn to Keely, whose lips are slightly parted, like she's gonna ask a question. I'll call him back later. So a flapper, huh? About to head home after the last bell when Coach Ruffalo stopped me in the hall. You didn't forget about our meeting, did you? I exhale in frustration because, yeah, I did. Pop's leaving work early so we can meet with a lawyer, but Coach Ruffalo wants to talk about college recruiting. I'm torn because I'm pretty sure Pop will want me to do both at the same time. But since that's not possible, I follow Coach Ruffalo and figure I'll make it quick. His office is next to the gym. It smells like 20 years worth of student athletes passing through. In other words, not good. My phone's ringing off the hook for you, Cooper, he says. I sit across from him in a lopsided middle chair that creaks under my weight. UCLA, Louisville, and New York and Illinois are putting in full together scholarships for you. They're all pushing for a November commitment, even though I told them there's no way you make a decision before spring. He catches my expression and adds, it's good to keep your options open. Obviously, the draft's a real possibility, but there's more interest in the college level. The more interest there is on the college level, the better you'll look to the majors. Yes, sir. It's not a draft strategy I'm worried about. It's how these colleges will react if this stuff on Simon's app got out, or if this whole thing spirals and I keep getting investigated by the police. Are all these offers gonna dry up? I'm innocent until proven guilty. I'm not sure if I should be telling this any of this to Coach Ruffalo. It's just hard to keep them all straight. He picks up a thin leaf of stapled together papers, waving them at me. I've done it for you. Here's a list of every college I've been in touch with and their current offers. I've highlighted the ones I think are best fit or will be most impressive to the majors. I wouldn't necessarily put Cal State or UC Santa Barbara on shortlist, but they're both local and offering facility tours. If you want to schedule those some weekend, let me know. Okay, I have some family stuff coming up, so I might be kind of busy for a while. Sure, no rush, no pressure. It's entirely up to you, Cooper. People always say that, but it doesn't feel true about anything. I think Coach Ruffalo and head into the almost empty hallway. I have my phone in one hand, and Coach is listening in the other. I'm so lost in thoughts I look between them that I should almost mow someone over my path. Sorry, I say, taken in the sight with the figure wrapped up around a box. Hey, Mr. Avery, you need help carrying that? No, thank you, Cooper. I'm a lot taller than he is, and when I look down, I don't see anything but folders in a box. I guess he can manage those. Mr. Avery's watery eyes then narrow, and he sees my phone. I wouldn't want to interrupt your texting. I was just at Trelofts explaining my lawyer appointment. I'm almost late for won't win me any points. Mr. Avery sniffs and adjusts his grips on the box. I don't understand you kids so obsessed with your screens and your gossip. He grimaces like the word tastes bad. I'm not sure what to say. Is he making a reference to Simon? I wonder if the police bother questioning Mr. Avery this weekend, or if he's been disqualified by virtue of not having motive. That's what they know of anyways. He shakes himself like he doesn't know what he's talking about either. Anyway, if you'll excuse me, Cooper. All you have to do is get right past me, step aside, but I guess that's my job. Right. I say, moving out of his way, watch him shuffle down the hall, and decide to leave my stuff in my locker and head for the car. I'm big enough as it is. I'm stopped at the blaster right before my house when my phone beeps. I look down, expecting a text from Keely, because somehow I ended up promising we'd get together to plan Halloween costumes, but it's from Mom. Meets at the hospital. Lonnie had a heart attack.